Hi everyone, my name's Mark and this week's project is right behind me. So this week the work that I've got planned is to build a base for my static caravan. So basically when I brought it onto site, I put in, I don't know, it must have been about 20 tons of crushed concrete, they call it. So it's a bit cheaper than type 1 hardcore, because it was really muddy just to stabilise the ground. But after a while, I kind of realised that the weeds were starting to grow up and was starting to affect underneath the caravan, so they were getting through. So I didn't want that to happen. So what I've decided to do is to build a concrete platform for it to sit on, because we're going to be living in there for a good year or so. I mean, I said to the missus about 6 months, so don't tell her. But it could be a couple of years. I don't know. We'll see how I get on. But anyway, that's another story. But so basically, what I've got today is I've got some type 1 crushed limestone that I'm going to lay in about 4 inches. I've already got about 4 inches of crushed concrete down there. So I'm going to lay about 3 to 4 inches of this limestone, what they call type 1, and I'm going to compact it down. I'm going to build a frame round, compact it a bit more, and then I've got some steel meshing to lay down. So I'll show you what I've got. I'm going to lay the steel in, and then I'm going to pour some concrete on top, and hopefully that will stop the weeds from coming back and it will stabilise the ground. And also, I kind of found when I was putting this in, it was quite difficult to level and stabilise this caravan because I've got loads of props to put underneath, and it was just becoming a bit of a chore to try and get something stable to jack it up. So I just thought this is the easiest thing, especially again when I do a lot of stuff on my own. You need to make things a bit easier. So I think a nice flat concrete base would just do the job and make my life easier, and then I can hook it up to the toilet system, the water and the electrics. Anyway, this is a video showing you how I'm laying a concrete base. Hopefully it's the right way. I've never done this type of work before, but hey, you know, I'll give it a go and I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, watch my video. Hopefully it's something of interest, and hopefully it's something that, again, will inspire other people. I'll quickly show you the site and what I'm doing. So there you go, there's 10 tonne of crushed type 1, which is limestone, which is a bit more even than the crushed concrete, because as you can see, the crushed concrete that I got, some of the stones in it were quite large. Over here, this is the steel meshing that's going to go inside the concrete. That's obviously to hold it all together. And this is the plot. So basically, as you can see, there's already a lot of the crushed concrete in there already, but I've got to obviously lay another layer on top and then compact it down. But there you go. That's the actual site that it's going in. Just sort of getting the levels. And there's the old static caravan that's going to go on when I get it on, and it needs a bit of a clean now. Look, it's starting to go a bit mildewy and mouldy. But there you go.
As I previously said, I need to just sort of basically start to level off the ground, just to give me a good start. The weeds started to come through, so I'm just scraping the top layer off just to get the bulk of the weeds out of the way, and then I'm going to start putting my new limestone, or type 1 as they call it, down, ready to build my frame.
Cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really
Well, as you can see, the digger can only get to so much. You know, it's obviously does all the heavy stuff, but I need to get in there with a rake just to take up the top layer, give it a good clear. I mean, to be honest, you probably could leave it and just dump stuff all over there, but I like to be thorough, so I'm just going over it with a rake, just clearing the worst parts of it. So once I've sort of felt comfortable with the top layer being sort of scraped off and the worst culprits moved, now I'm going to start spreading over the tight one. So I'm just going to do my first layer of 1 inch or 2, and then I'm going to compact it down, make it as level as possible. So again, making use of my little mini digger. I mean, it's a great little tool. If you can afford to buy one and you've got lots of work to do on a bit of land, it's definitely worth the money, especially if you work on your own. So yeah, so I'm putting it through its paces. So as you can see, again, I'm just going over with the rake, just taking out the worst high spots, just trying to even it out a bit before I go over with a compactor, just flatten it down. Yeah, this is definitely the hard work stage, but it's all worthwhile in the end. I mean, any DIY, you've got to imagine these jobs seem quite daunting at first. I mean, this slab of concrete is 12 meters long by 4 meters wide, and 4 inches thick, so it's a big chunk of concrete to do, and you know, I can imagine anyone would be put off doing it, but you know, the money you save in labour costs is quite significant. So again, here I go with me little compactor I got off the internet, which is, you know, a really good useful tool. Again, you got to remember that any equipment that you buy, once it's finished, you know, you still can, there's still some value in it if you look after it and it still works. You can just sell it on. So I'm always happy to buy a new tool, because I know that you can sell it at a later time. As you can see, folks, the site foreman's come over to check on progress, and I think he's quite happy with what I've done so far. Fingers crossed.
Right, the aim here is to set out the outer edge now. So this is basically where the top of the concrete's going to go. So what I've done is I've cut down some 3B1, 6B1 into 3B1. I'm going to screw that to get my level across the back, because basically what I want also is the concrete to just to seep underneath it, and just to close up that gap between the fence panel and the pad. It doesn't have to be neat, but as long as it closes it up to stop the weeds. So I've ripped down some 6x1 gravel board, and I'm going to screw that, try and get it level across the back. And then I've got some 6x1 and I've cut up some stakes, and I'm going to obviously drive these into the ground and then fix my gravel board, 6x1 gravel boards around and create the shape of the pad. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it up, so it's about 4 inches left on the top, and then I'm going to place my mesh on there, sat 2 inches off the ground, and then it will give me 2 inches above, and then hopefully that will give me my pad. So it's a little bit of hard work now because I've got to get it sort of reasonably level. As you can see, it's still a little bit uneven in places, but I just wanted to get a base for my first pass over. So I'm going to frame it out now, and get it kind of level, but you don't want these pads to be completely level because obviously you don't want the water to stand on the concrete. So I'm basically going to lean it forward a little bit, so when the rain does come down it will just run away from the fence and down and just wash away. So that's basically the aim. I mean, you can get it level one way, but always remember just to have that slope slightly to wash away. It's like laying a patio in front of a house. You want the water to run away from the house and not to the house. So that's the aim that I'm going to try and achieve now. Right, I'm going to crack on, start whacking in some stakes, and getting my outer border done.
Right, as I spoke about, and as you can see, I'm just going around checking the top levels just to make sure that I'm happy with it, and it's a simple job. You know, you don't need fancy laser levels which everyone makes you feel that you need to buy. A simple 8-foot spirit level works just as fine. You know, if I ever have the need to buy a laser level, then I will do, but at the minute I'm okay. And then again, what I spoke about, I'm just going to drive in some stakes at the front, just space them out and level off the front edge. Again, remembering that across the back it's level and across the front it's level, but I've got a slight incline leaning towards the front, so you get some rain runoff and it doesn't sit on the concrete, because you don't really want to do that if you ever need to go under and do some work, etc.
And I ain't never gonna stop. Come on, listen to me. I've tried so many times to tell you this is as good as I can be. Why isn't it enough to be faithful and also be the hit of the party? Let's just break it down to you and me uptown.
As you can see here again, it's a bit more clearer. I'm driving in some stakes, and being the old man I am, I needed a bigger hammer or a sledgehammer, which, as you can see, I need to take loads of breaks because I'm not as fit as I used to be. But hey, this is what buying loads of new tools are about, making life easier for yourself. So if you can afford it, buy a new tool, because again, like I said, you can always sell it on once you finish using it. Back with the whacker again now that I've done my first layer. I'm just compacting it over, ready for the steels to go on. So I'm just going to go over, maybe 1 or 2 passes is good enough, and then I'll start setting out the steel meshing.
I have to be me 24/7, and I ain't never gonna stop. No, 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 no. Yeah, 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 yeah. I ain't never gonna stop. No, no. Oh, I ain't never gonna stop. I ain't never gonna stop now, baby. Never gonna stop now, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no. I ain't never gonna stop now, baby. Ooh. Never gonna stop now, baby.
So as you can see in here, you might notice I'm using a board. So basically I've got a longer timber on the top that sits on the two level edges, and then I've got a 6x1 underneath, which gives me about 4 inches down from the top. So it just gives me a level, and gives me an idea that I've still got 4 inches to fill on top, which is the 2 inches off the ground for the metal meshing, and then 2 inches on top. And here we go. We've got a bit of help here today. Bless her, you know, she's got a day off, so she's getting stuck in and helping me. So this is my third layer of crushed concrete. Just getting this 4-inch layer gap. And I think she quite enjoyed it. It looks harder than what it is, but basically it's almost like it self-propels itself because it vibrates that much. I mean, you can basically let go and it will just run away with you. But yeah, it's quite noisy. All good fun, and all a good learning curve because we've never done this before. So, you know, as they say, every day's a school day. As you can see now, I'm just setting out the concrete meshing. What I've done is I've broken down some concrete slabs that I had lying around just to lift the meshing off the floor by about 2 inches. Here I am cutting the end sections. Obviously these sheets that I bought were quite large. But it's a fairly simple process, you know, they lift them off the floor and then you just get some wire and you just bind them together where they meet across. This wire meshing can be quite expensive, but as I found, if you shop around, you know, you could get quite a good deal. So have a look around if you need to buy some. You'll be surprised at how much money you can save. Right folks, here we go, concrete day. This was quite early in the morning, and this guy from ABC Concrete, basically their truck is quite unique, I think, in the fact, unlike ordinary concrete trucks, they pre-mix it and it comes and they just pour out what they've got. Here he'll sell you whatever you need, so if you need a bit less or a bit more, he'll only charge you for that, which is really good. And to be honest, the guy was really nice. We were a bit undermanned today because, as you can see, the chute wasn't really long enough, so we had to basically drag this concrete to the other end. So this chute was nowhere near long enough to get to the end, and it was hard work, especially when you're not used to doing this every day. But you know, fair play to him. He didn't need to help us, but he did. Really nice guy. So if you're ever in the Lincolnshire area and you need a concrete guy, I recommend him. And also a fun fact that I've noticed recently, he helped out Colin Furze, the famous YouTuber, which, to be honest, doesn't live too far away from me. But yeah, as you can see in his latest concrete bunker, he used this guy to help him. So yeah, obviously he must be good if he's helping Colin Furze out. But it didn't take too long, if I'm honest, maybe about an hour or so to pour this concrete in. It was quite wet at the time, as you can see, because we needed to move it. And some of you with the eagle eye would say, you know, why didn't you have a polythene sheet underneath? Well, to be honest, I didn't really need to, because the ground was okay, and a lot of the time when you put polythene sheet, it stops the absorption of the water going into the ground and it dries too quickly. Well, it wasn't really that warm, and we didn't really need it. The ground was quite wet anyway, so it was fine. And to be honest, you know, it's an outside concrete base, so I don't care whether the moisture or the damp comes up through it. It's not going to affect what I need it for. So if you're thinking, why didn't he put a damp course down? The cost of it, and I didn't really need it. I just, as I said before, I just really needed a flat base to sit this this temporary home on for us. And as you can see at the end, I think it turned out really good, considering I've never concreted like this before. It was my first bash at it, so I think it was a good success. Cost-wise, I think, you know, if you were thinking of something this size, you're probably looking at a couple of thousand in materials. But I think it was well worth it for what I needed, and we'll see afterwards. You know, I can build on it, I can do anything on top of it afterwards. And what you will see is, after this, you'll see my next video where, because of the ground is, again, not flat, I had to build a bit of an elevated decking area for us to comfortably get in and out of the caravan, which I'll post later on another video showing you how I done that. And again, I think it turned out quite nice. But here we're just basically doing the final level off, just smoothing out any of the high spots, and job done, as you can see. Looking good. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe. There you go.
And that, people, is how you concrete a base for a static caravan with you and the wife, and being an old man. It was hard work, but the concrete delivery guy was really helpful, so thumbs up.